Here's a good look at a Mexican free-tailed bat, the iconic bat of Central Texas, the bat that lives in Congress Avenue Bridge, the largest urban bat colony in the world. Um, Beautiful bats, and not just any old bat that we have there at Congress. They are the fastest living thing in the sky, 100 miles an hour in level flight, unassisted by wind or gravity. But check out those ears, the beautiful earlobes, the little ridges inside the ear that amplify the echolocation bouncing off their insect prey, the tubercles on the leading edge of the ear that they have in common with the tubercles on the leading edge of the flukes of humpback whales. So those are devices to reduce drag as they fly through their respective elements. So beautiful look at a Mexican free-tailed bat. Here's a look at the back end of a Mexican free-tailed bat. You'll notice that he has a non-furred tail membrane that stops short of the tip of the tail. That's a feature to reduce drag as he's flying through the air. Another feature that makes him the fastest living thing in the sky. Their feet are truly remarkable. They have brushes on the outside edge of the first and fifth toes. They have claws, of course, which are tucked underneath the foot in this view, and underneath the toes. But these whiskers are truly astonishing. They have toe whiskers for feeling their way up in the roost. So when the night's over and they fly back up to their roost, they'll do a somersault, grab on with those sharp little claws, and feel their way up into the roost with those toe whiskers. Truly astonishing Swiss Army knife feet that have all kinds of little, I think they probably have a corkscrew in there somewhere, but we haven't discovered that quite yet. But there's that free tail that give them their name. Remarkable little bats. Okay, here we have your chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry of the bat world. We have a Seminole bat on the left, a female eastern red in the middle, and a male eastern red on the right. So you can get a look at the subtle color differences between the two species and the sexual dimorphism of the two eastern reds on the right. You can tell them apart by looking at them, but it's easy to confuse them. They're not all that different in coloration, and sometimes there are some who tend more toward looking one way than the other, and the two species interbreed. So there are intergrades between the two species, so it can get really confusing. But for the most part, this is a pretty good look at the three different flavors of foliage roosting bats that we commonly see here in Austin. Seminole on the left, female eastern red in the middle, male eastern red on the right. All of them little scamps and troublemakers and wonderful little bats. Just a real joy to work with. Here are two species that frequently get confused. This is a big brown bat in front. Queenie's got a little bit of vitamin powder sprinkled around on her muzzle, but she's a beautiful big brown bat, not one that we see very often in Central Texas. All the big browns we see come from East Texas, but this is an evening bat, and they can be confused, but if you're just seeing one or the other. But if you see two come together like this, the size is real obvious right away. The big browns are much bigger, but evening bats are awesome little bats, and they're a common bat here in Austin. They reside in people's patio umbrellas and the nooks and crannies in the eaves of the houses. but they're mostly, if we would leave more dead and dying standing trees around town, they would go back to their normal habitat. We don't know a whole lot about big browns because we don't see them very often, but they sure are beautiful. Two really cool bat species. Good boys and girls.